Let's kick it off here with our power rankings. Amir, of course, you'll take over in a moment, but let's get into it here with my list. The Philadelphia Eagles, they lost last week, and I'm starting to worry about them. I don't think Nick Sirianni is an above average head coach anymore. It doesn't seem like he has control of this locker room or this roster. And again, it seems like there's no trust or really good vibes around this organization. So they're at number 10. I think they can definitely get back up to the top echelon of teams. But as of right now, we have to see a lot, and they need to get healthy as well. At number 9, the Baltimore Ravens. And just like that, they're back. They started off the year rough, but back-to-back wins against quality opponents. They are back to being legitimate team, or a legitimate team. I think they have a big game this weekend on the road at Cincinnati. They need to take care of business there. At number 8, Tampa Bay. They rejoined the top 10 for me. They're heading on the road to Atlanta this weekend. And I think, hey, this is where the Baker MVP campaign can start. I believe in the defense. I believe in Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator. And of course, Baker Mayfield has been playing amazing football. I like the Tampa Bay Bucks this year. They're starting to grow on me. At 6 and 7, we have NFC West rivals. Of course, at 7, we have Seattle. They go up despite a loss. And Amir, you're completely different on Seattle than I am, but they go up despite a loss. I think I saw a lot in that second half of the game. And again, they lost to me, to a top 2 team in the league. So that holds a lot of weight, right? So again, they
Yep.
kind of move up just because a lot of teams dropped out of the list, like the New York Jets and the Pittsburgh Steelers, for example. At number 6, the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy continues to get it done. Amir, I said this is a stretch of time where I want to see Brock Purdy step up. He's doing that. And this team is only getting healthier going forward. They just got Debo back, and they should be better going forward. They just need McCaffrey back in the mix, and they're going to be a Super Bowl contender. At number 5, Amir, if you told me this before the season, I would have
Woo.
kicked you off the podcast and said you're delusional. The Minnesota Vikings with no Kirk Cousins are a top 5 team in the NFL, if not higher. They are one of the 2 only undefeated teams left in the league, and I think it's a big game this weekend. Sam Darnold revenge game against the Jets. How are they going to do? Excited to see. At 3 and 4, these teams have flip flopped the last couple of weeks, but Buffalo lost, Houston won. They flipped spots, but they match up this weekend. Huge game for the both of them. I think it's a statement game for a multitude of reasons, but mainly the big storyline, Stephon Diggs, revenge game. Have to see how that works out. At 1 and 2, it's the same as my preseason power rankings. Kansas City, despite getting even more injured now with Rashee Rice with a torn ACL out for the year, how are they going to replace them? We'll talk about that later in the pod. Detroit, of course, big win against a very quality opponent in the Seattle Seahawks. They get a much needed bye this weekend. Amir, looks like your top 10 starts out the same way as mine.
Yeah, so at my test spot, I have the Eagles. And, this defense is very concerning. I mean, they're getting tore up in the secondary just like last year, if not worse. And, a lot of that has to do with them being young and them kind of build up that chemistry. But I think that's going to be their biggest downfall if they don't address it right now. And, with the injuries on top of that, I think, for that reason, I have to drop it down to 10. Honestly, some people even argue outside the top 10, but right at 10 for now. At my 9 spot and my 8 spot, I have Atlanta at 8, Tampa at 9. You know, Tampa Bay for me, I still can't tell if they're fool's gold or if they're legit. I would say the offense looks great, for the most part, outside of that week versus Denver where they completely just got,
Right.
locked up. But, defensively, they look better than last year, I'd say. They still have some icks every now and then, but they look better. Atlanta for me is a top 10 team because of the defense. The defense is lights out, amazing. Their secondary probably has been the best in the league so far. Kirk is honestly getting better week to week. And so with that, I have them at 8. After that, I have Buffalo at 7.
Wow.
I didn't want to bump them down, but I mean they got absolutely destroyed on both
They
sides of
did.
the ball. I mean, Derrick Henry rushed for 200 yards. I mean, the offense looked solid, despite Josh Allen not having much time, on the offensive line. But it's like, I mean, Baltimore completely dominated the game from start to finish. At my 6th spot, I have Baltimore. I think I was sort of waiting for another big win by them. And honestly, Baltimore was a team for me where I was like, last week and the week before, even though they were outside the top 10, I knew like it only took 1 or 2 wins to really put them back in the
Right.
combo. And I think seeing them on both sides of the ball hit that next step, finally get in the groove, I think they were thought out, a top 10 team.
Yeah, Roquan
At
is
my 5th spot,
amazing.
yeah, like great. Lamar looks great. Derrick Henry looks great. Isaiah Likely is hitting a huge step, and that's huge for that
Yes.
offense. At my 5th spot, I have San Fran. With the injuries, they're still a top 5 team in my opinion. And Brock Purdy. He's been playing amazing. I think he's leading the league in passing, second in completion percentage. He's playing lights out. Shout out to him. Shout out to Shanahan. At my fourth spot, I have the Houston Texans. This is a team where it's like, it seems like they're playing sloppy and they're still winning games.
Yeah.
This team has looked like they haven't even scratched the surface of the potential yet. This team is going to be a scary team throughout the year, a very scary team. The three spot, the Vikings, which is crazy. I have to say this.
I was wondering where they're at.
Which is crazy. I have to say this, and I was waiting, but at this point, it's like, man, they're undefeated. Both sides of the ball, they look great. And, even though J Love was hurt, and, I show some grace towards J Love because he has the MCL injury, he's coming back early. But
Right.
Minnesota on both sides of the ball look amazing. Sam Darnold is amazing. Kevin O'Connell, coach of the year candidate right now easily. And at 1-2, KC Detroit, both teams are great. I think KC Detroit are also knocking off some cobwebs. I do have some concerns for Detroit's pass defense. In particular, they have the pieces, but they just haven't, really been able to, control, passing offense, high power offenses, which you have to address right now. And KC, Mahomes is turning the ball over a lot, but they're still just that good. He's still that good. The defense is top 5 in the league, and I think that's honestly, going a long way for them right now.